The timeless appeal of English cottage style lies in its unpretentious warmth, lived-in comfort, and the charming imperfections that tell stories of generations past. Today's revival of cottage aesthetics represents not just a design trend but a meaningful return to authenticity and sustainability in home decor, emphasizing handcrafted quality, thoughtful repurposing, and personal expression over mass-produced perfection. By embracing the art of thrifting, upcycling, and DIY transformation, you can create spaces that radiate genuine cottage charm without the hefty price tag that often accompanies designer rustic decor.
Welcome to Rustic Elegance. Let's embark on a journey through the beauty of rustic decor, celebrating the warmth, simplicity, and natural charm of this timeless design.
Rustic English Cottage Makeover with Thrifted Decor, Gingham touches and upcycled furniture. What makes English cottage style particularly appealing in our current era is its inherent sustainability. A decorating approach built around rescuing discarded treasures, reimagining their purpose, and celebrating the beauty in well-worn patina and honest materials. This aesthetic encourages slow decorating, allowing homes to evolve naturally through meaningful acquisitions rather than instant makeovers with all new furnishings. The result is not just beautiful but deeply personal living spaces that reflect your unique story, while honoring the environmental values increasingly important to conscious homeowners. As we explore these 20 approaches to creating authentic English cottage interiors with budget-friendly methods, you'll discover how simple elements like gingham fabrics, mismatched china, and weathered wood can transform even the most contemporary spaces into havens of rustic comfort. Whether you're renovating a genuine countryside cottage or bringing cottage warmth to a suburban home or urban apartment, these ideas will help you create interiors that balance timeless tradition with practical modern living. Spaces that welcome, comfort, and tell your unique story through thoughtfully chosen objects and creative transformations. 1. Thrifted finds for cottage charm. Transform your home into an authentic English cottage retreat by incorporating carefully selected thrifted treasures with genuine age and character. Search local thrift stores, estate sales, and flea markets for copper cookware, weathered wooden breadboards, and vintage ceramic pitchers that bring instant cottage appeal to your spaces. These unique finds not only add rustic English charm to your home at a fraction of retail prices, but also contribute to sustainable decorating by giving overlooked items new purpose and appreciation. Two. Upcycled furniture with English soul. Breathe new life into tired furniture pieces with simple upcycling techniques that enhance their inherent cottage character while preserving their structural integrity. Apply chalk paint in soft cream, duck egg blue, or sage green to worn dressers or side tables, then lightly distress edges to reveal hints of wood or previous colors beneath for authentic English cottage patina. Complete your upcycled masterpieces with vintage hardware and aged brass or iron for a cohesive look that balances rustic charm with refined country elegance. Three. Gingham patterns in every room. Incorporate classic gingham fabric, the quintessential English cottage pattern, throughout your home in varying scales and complementary colors for cohesive rustic charm. Layer gingham curtains, chair cushions, and accent pillows in soft blues, warm reds, or muted greens to create visual connection between different rooms while maintaining the cozy, unpretentious feel central to cottage style. Remember that authentic English cottage interiors embrace pattern mixing without appearing too coordinated, so allow your gingham elements to converse with florals, stripes, and textural solids for spaces that feel naturally evolved rather than decorated from a matching collection. Four, rustic touches with vintage flair. Introduce authentic rustic elements with genuine age rather than mass-produced, distressed reproductions for true English cottage character throughout your home. Hunt for weathered wooden stools, antique copper kettles, or vintage enamelware to serve as both functional items and decorative focal points that tell stories of rural English life. These authentic pieces bring tactile history to your spaces while creating the layered, collected over time atmosphere essential to genuine cottage interiors. Five, shabby chic decor on a budget. Embrace affordable shabby chic elements like slip-covered furniture, painted vintage frames, and porcelain figurines to capture English cottage charm without overspending. Focus on pieces with elegant lines but worn finishes, then unify disparate items through consistent color palettes of cream, white, and soft pastels for cohesive cottage appeal. This budget-friendly approach honors the original shabby chic movement's focus on rescuing overlooked items while creating spaces with genuine patina and comfortable elegance. 6. Antique market pieces reimagined. Transform overlooked antique market finds into statement pieces that anchor your cottage-style rooms with authentic character and historical connection. Consider repurposing a vintage dresser as a bathroom vanity, converting an antique sewing table into a bedside stand, or using a weathered stepladder as a display for potted herbs and cottage garden flowers. These creative reinterpretations not only add unique charm to your cottage interiors, but also preserve craftsmanship from earlier eras when furniture was built to last for generations. Seven. DIY wall art with cottage vibes. Create personalized wall decor that captures English cottage aesthetics using simple DIY techniques and thrifted materials with countryside character. Frame press wildflowers collected during nature walks. Arrange vintage botanical prints in mismatched frames painted in complementary colors. Or display collections of antique plates with floral patterns for authentic cottage gallery walls. These handcrafted art solutions add meaningful personality to your spaces, while reflecting the traditional cottage approach of decorating with natural elements and cherished heirlooms, rather than mass-produced art. Eight. Layered textures in small spaces. Enrich modest-sized rooms with the multisensory appeal of layered textures that reference traditional English cottage materials like wool, linen, wood, and stone. Combine chunky knit throws, linen slipcovers, weathered wooden surfaces, and natural fiber rugs to create depth and interest without requiring large square footage or elaborate architectural details. This thoughtful layering of tactile elements creates the cozy, enveloping atmosphere characteristic of authentic cottages, while making small spaces feel more interesting and intentionally designed. Nine. Warm neutrals and pastel palettes. Develop a color strategy centered around warm neutrals accented with soft pastels inspired by the English countryside. Think buttery creams, warm whites, and stone grays punctuated by lavender, duck egg blue, and sage green. Apply these colors thoughtfully throughout your spaces, using neutrals for larger elements and pastel accents for textiles, painted furniture, and decorative accessories that can be easily changed with seasons or evolving preferences. This balanced palette creates the serene, welcoming atmosphere essential to English cottage interiors while allowing architectural elements and cherished collections to stand out against a harmonious backdrop. Ten. Reclaimed wood for cozy corners. Incorporate reclaimed wooden elements that reference the honest, natural materials traditional to authentic English cottage architecture and furnishings. Install floating shelves made from weathered barnwood to display cottage collections, create a feature wall with salvaged wooden planks, or refinish a reclaimed farmhouse table as your dining area's centerpiece. These reclaimed wood elements connect your home to cottage traditions of resourcefulness and appreciation for natural patina, while adding warmth and character impossible to achieve with new materials. 11. Repurposed kitchen cottage accents. Transform your kitchen into a cozy English cottage hub by displaying collections of functional vintage kitchen tools and serving pieces as decorative accents. Arrange mismatched wooden rolling pins, copper jelly molds, or ceramic mixing bowls on open shelving to create visual interest while keeping these useful items accessible for actual cooking and baking. These authentic kitchen elements reference the working heart of traditional English cottages where kitchens were practical, welcoming spaces centered around home cooking rather than showplaces for unused decorative objects. (12) Soft curtains and secondhand linens. Soften your windows and living spaces with gently gathered curtains and linens sourced from thrift stores, estate sales, or online marketplaces for authentic cottage texture and affordability. Look for natural fabrics like cotton, linen, or lightweight wool with subtle patterns or soft solid colors that filter light beautifully throughout the day. Layer vintage tea towels, embroidered pillowcases, and hand-hemmed tablecloths throughout your rooms to add the delicate, handcrafted details essential to genuine English cottage style. (13) Floral motifs with a rustic twist. Incorporate English garden-inspired floral patterns with a relaxed, slightly weathered quality that references the casual elegance of authentic cottage style. Choose cabbage roses, wildflower prints, and botanical motifs in slightly faded colorways rather than crisp, perfect reproductions for textiles, wallpaper, or decorative accessories throughout your home. Balance these floral elements with rustic textures like rough wood, galvanized metal, or stone to prevent your spaces from feeling too precious or formal, creating the perfect tension between pretty and practical that defines genuine English cottage interiors. (14) Cottage-Style Entryway Refresh Ideas. Create a welcoming cottage entrance that sets the tone for your entire home through thoughtfully selected vintage elements with practical purpose and rustic charm. Install hooks made from repurposed spoons or antique doorknobs for coat hanging, position a weathered bench for shoe removal, and add a collection of thrifted baskets for practical storage of seasonal accessories. These entryway solutions reference the hard-working, sensible nature of traditional English cottages, while creating an inviting transition space that immediately communicates your home's warm, unpretentious character. (15) Mixing old china and mismatched dishes. Curate a delightful collection of mismatched vintage china, earthenware, and transferware plates to display on open shelving or use for everyday dining with casual English cottage flair. Look for complementary patterns in blues, pinks, or multicolored florals rather than perfectly matched sets, embracing the slight inconsistencies and occasional chips that add authentic character. This approach to dishware not only creates visual interest through varied patterns, but also references the genuine evolution of traditional cottage kitchens where complete matching sets were rare and cherished pieces were passed down through generations. 16. Vintage frames and gingham gallery walls. Create characterful gallery walls that combine vintage wooden or gilded frames with simple gingham mats or backings for a distinctly English cottage presentation of family photos and artwork. Vary frame sizes, finishes, and orientations while maintaining cohesion through consistent gingham elements in complementary colorways like soft blue, warm red, or sage green. This thoughtful approach to wall displays honors cottage traditions of family connection and memory keeping, while adding architectural interest to simple walls through collected frames with history and personality. (17) DIY side tables from salvaged finds. Craft unique side tables from overlooked salvage items that bring authentic cottage character, while serving essential functions in your living spaces. Transform wooden crates, vintage suitcases, or antique sewing machine bases into charming occasional tables with minimal tools and modest investment of time and materials. These DIY furniture projects not only save significant money compared to purchasing new tables, but also add one-of-a-kind character impossible to achieve with mass-produced furniture, while honoring cottage traditions of resourcefulness and creative repurposing. (18) Rustic light fixtures with farmhouse feel. Replace generic lighting with character-rich fixtures that reference traditional English farmhouse and cottage lighting solutions for immediate aesthetic impact. Consider converted oil lanterns, simple iron chandeliers adorned with wooden beads, or pendant lights created from vintage enamelware for illumination with authentic rustic appeal. These lighting choices serve as functional sculptures within your cottage rooms, creating pools of warm, welcoming light while reinforcing your commitment to rescuing and repurposing vintage elements with genuine history and craftsmanship. (19) Cozy reading nooks with thrifted decor. Carve out inviting reading retreats within your cottage home using thrifted armchairs, salvaged side tables, and vintage reading lamps arranged to create purpose-built spaces for literary escape. Position these elements near windows for natural reading light. Then add layers of comfort through thrifted wool throws, needlepoint pillows, and small footstools that invite lingering with favorite books. These thoughtfully designed reading corners honor the traditional cottage emphasis on simple pleasures and comfortable relaxation, while making even small homes feel more spacious through dedicated areas for specific activities. (20) Budget-friendly English cottage garden accents. Extend your cottage aesthetic to outdoor spaces through thoughtfully selected garden elements with authentic English character and modest price tags. Hunt for weathered terracotta pots, vintage watering cans, and reclaimed garden tools to create vignettes that blend practical function with decorative charm around entrances and outdoor seating areas. These garden accents blur the boundaries between interior and exterior spaces, a hallmark of traditional English cottage design where the garden was considered an essential extension of living areas rather than a separate, purely ornamental space. Conclusion. The beauty of English cottage style lies not merely in its aesthetic appeal but in its democratic nature. It welcomes imperfection, celebrates personal history, and turns financial constraints into creative opportunities. By embracing the principles of thrifting, upcycling, and thoughtful DIY projects, you've discovered how to create a home that feels authentically yours without requiring significant investment. These 20 approaches demonstrate that creating a charming retreat doesn't depend on purchasing high-end reproductions of cottage elements. It relies instead on patience, creativity, and a willingness to see potential in the overlooked or discarded. As you implement these ideas in your own spaces, remember that authentic cottage style evolves organically over time. Allow yourself to collect pieces gradually, adding elements that genuinely speak to you rather than rushing to complete a picture-perfect cottage setting all at once. This patient approach not only supports budget-friendly decorating, but also ensures your home develops genuine character and personal significance, rather than looking like a staged cottage replica. The most charming English cottages tell stories through their collected treasures, creating environments that feel both timeless and intimately connected to their inhabitants. Beyond the aesthetic rewards, your cottage-inspired home represents a meaningful stance against disposable consumer culture. Each piece of furniture saved from landfills, each vintage textile repurposed, and each handcrafted element created from salvaged materials contributes to a more sustainable approach to home design. As you enjoy your rustic English cottage retreat, take satisfaction in knowing your creative efforts have culminated not only in a beautiful living space but also in a thoughtful statement about finding value and beauty in the gently worn, the lovingly mended, and the creatively reimagined. This philosophy representing the true heart of cottage style across generations.